Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So today, inshallah, we are going to discuss about the doubts that you have messaged me from the Newtonian Mechanics Creative from the solution program. So the first one we can see here is 7D. So everyone please come to 7D. Number 7. Let us read the stem first. Okay. Let us see what information can be gathered from there. The diameter of two electric fan is 142 centimeter. The diameter is given. Okay, let us list the diameter. D1 is equal to 142 centimeter and 122 centimeter. Second one, 122 centimeter. Okay. Now the first one rotates at 150 per minute. This is RPM. Okay. This is actually N, number of rotation, 150 RPM, 150 rotation per minute. What does it mean? Okay, let us say I have a string. Okay, one end of the string is in my hand and another end is holding a ball. So if I now rotate it, the ball will be in rotational motion. Now let us say the ball started from this position and completed a full rotation. That is called one rotation or revolution. One rotation. Now I am counting in 1 minute how many times it rotates. 1, 2, 3, 4. Likewise, I can count in 1 minute how many times it rotates, right? So in case of fan, it is given 150 times it will rotate in a minute. That means if you start counting like, okay, 1 second, 2 second, 3 second, like in 60 seconds, how many rotation it will complete? 150 rotation. This is what it means. Now, what is the use of this information? This is actually angular velocity. From here, you can easily find out the angular velocity. Always remember, if you know how many times it is rotating per minute or rotating per second, okay, you can easily find out the angular velocity. Okay, Achha. Very important to know this. Achha. The first one rotates at 150 per minute and second one 180. That means N1 and then there will be N2 180 RPM rotation per minute. Sometimes it will be given in RPS, that means rotation per second. In 1 second, how many times it rotates? Sometimes it might be given that way also. Both fans stop after 2 seconds of switched off. Okay, in 2 seconds they stop. The time is 2 seconds for both of them, and the final velocity for both of them, that one we can say actually omega 1 f and omega 2f. The final velocity for both of them is 0 because both of them is stopped, right? So this is the information. These are the information that we can gather from this stem. Now let us see what we have been asked to do. D number. After switching off, both fans rotate in the same number. Achha. Now we know that. First, let us try to understand what the question is asking you to find out. We know that whenever we switch the fan off, what happens? It doesn't stop immediately, right? It doesn't come to rest immediately. Before stopping, it keeps rotating and the velocity decreases, and then it comes to stop. So here they are asking, before stopping, how many times it will rotate? This one we have to calculate, okay? First, in the second fan, for the second fan also, we need to calculate how many times it rotates before it comes to stop. Then we need to compare between them. Are they equal or not? Here they are saying after switching off, both fans rotate in the same number. Justify. Okay, we need to justify whether they rotate in the same number or not. Okay, if it happens like that, both of them are rotating 3 times before stopping, then we can say okay, it is justified. Okay, so remember what we need to find out before it stops, how many times it rotates. Okay, now. Let me give you an idea how we can calculate how many times it rotates. We need to calculate the angular displacement. Whenever you will be asked to calculate how many times it will rotate before stopping, you need to calculate the angular displacement. Why angular displacement? Let us see. Let us say it rotates 720 degrees before coming to stop. This is the angular displacement, theta. Okay, theta is angular displacement, and we found out that theta is 720 degree. Generally, for this type of problem, we will calculate in radian, but for making it easier for you to understand, I'm giving the example in degree because you are more familiar with degree, right? So let us give you the example with degree first. Let us say the fan rotates 720 degree. I found out that before it comes to stop, it rotates 720 degree. Now, from here, I can easily tell the fan will rotate 2 times, or it will complete 2 rotation before it comes to stop. How did I find that out? All you need to do is this theta, you need to divide by 360 degree. Now, can anybody tell me why I divided by 360 degree? Why not other number?
Because it revolves one full time.
Right. Okay. If it completes 1 rotation, then it will complete 360 degree. As it has completed 720 degree, that is double of 360 degree actually. If you do the division, it will come 2. That means it completed 1 rotation 360 degree, again another 360 degree. So 2 times it rotated, and that is why the angle is 720 degree, right? So I can divide the angular displacement by 360 degree and find out the answer, right? Now here we are not dealing with degree, we are dealing with radian. Do you know what is radian? What is 360 degree in radian? If I convert 360 degree into radian, what will
2
be the
pi.
answer?
2
2 pi.
pi.
Very good. 2 pi. Because we already know that pi is equal to pi radian is equal to 180 degree. So if it is 360 degree, let us multiply 2 on both the sides. So 2 pi will be equal to 360 degree, right? So here we will get the answer maybe like this 6 pi. Let us say I got that it rotates 6 pi times. Then you need to divide it by 3 pi because this is radian, so you need to divide it by 360 degree in radian, that is 2 pi. So here it will give you the answer 3. That means your fan will rotate 3 times. Understood or got the idea that what we need to do? আমি এখনো কিন্তু প্রবলেম সলভ করি নাই, okay? I just gave you an idea what actually we need to do. Okay, understanding this one is of utmost important. Whenever you will be asked that calculate how many times the body is going to rotate before it comes to stop, you need to calculate theta. Okay, now how to calculate theta? Okay, let us see. If you want to calculate theta, we know this formula, omega 1 I, or actually the formula is omega I plus omega f divided by 2 into t. Okay, you remember the second formula, the second equation, Newton's equation, S equal to u plus v divided by 2 into t. Now this one has become this. Okay, S, that is linear displacement, it will become angular displacement now. Initial velocity plus final velocity. Here it will be initial angular velocity plus final angular velocity, right? This is for linear motion, this is for rotational motion, and time is same for both cases. Okay, so from here I can actually find out the theta. So to find out the theta, I need 2 things: initial velocity and final velocity. How I can find it out? Let us say for the first body I am calculating, so I will put omega 1 I and omega 1 f. Okay, time is same for both of them, 2 seconds. That is why I will not put t1 t2. Okay, now theta 1. If I want to calculate theta 1, I need omega I. Omega I, yes. How I can calculate? If you notice that I told you that if n is given, from there you can actually calculate omega. How? The formula to calculate omega is like this.
2 pi n divided by t.
2 pi n by 60. Actually, it is 2 pi n by t. Okay, 2 pi n by t. This is the original formula, but whenever it is rotation per minute, RPM, that time the time is, here rotation per minute, right? 1 minute is equal to 60 seconds. That is why we put 60 here. So 2 pi n by 60. If you are converting RPM to radian per second, this one actually it will give you the unit in radian per second. Okay, so number of rotation. Now, how this equation came? Do you know that? angular velocity, right? So angular displacement divided by time. Let me explain it a little bit. প্রত্যেকটা জিনিস খুব হ্যাঁ বুঝো এটা বুঝলে তাইলে আমি আর বলবো না হ্যাঁ
আপনি এটা একবার ডিসকাস করছিলেন
আমি এটা ডিসকাস করছিলাম ওকে তাইলে তোমরা জানো তো না কেউ যদি না জানো তাইলে আমাকে এখনই বলতে হবে তাইলে আমি ডিসকাস করব আর যদি তোমরা কেউ কিছু না বলো তাইলে আমি জাস্ট কন্টিনিউ করব এখান থেকে পারো তাহলে সবাই গুড তাইলে আর বলো দরকার নেই So 2 pi n by 60. Here we will put the value of n, that is 150. We are calculating the initial velocity for the first body. So it will be 2 pi n1. So 2 pi into 150 divided by 60. So kindly calculate 2 diye calculator 30, 30 diye calculator 5. So the answer is going to be 5 pi, right? And we know that the final velocity is 0. So here initial velocity 5 pi plus final velocity 0 divided by 2 into time is 2 seconds. So 2 and 2 they will cancel each other and theta 1 will become 5 pi. Okay. So theta 1 I have calculated 5 pi. Now we know that whatever the value of theta comes, I will divide it by 2 pi to get the number of rotation before it stops. So before the fan stops, before the first fan stops, it will rotate is equal to 5 pi divided by 2 pi. That will give us 2.5 actually. So it will rotate 2.5 times. Okay. So we calculated how many times it will rotate before stopping for the first fan. You need to repeat the similar operation for the second fan. Okay. Let me show you. Can you do it or should I show you? In a similar way, actually, you need to calculate omega 2i. For the second fan, the initial velocity. Again, 2 pi n2. 2 pi n2 by 60. So 2 pi into 180 divided by 60. 3 into the 6 pi. So from here, we can calculate theta. Theta is equal to theta 2, right? Omega 2i plus omega 2f divided by 2 into 3. So this is 6 pi plus 0 divided by 2 into 2. So to cancel, it will be 6 pi, right? Answer. So we need to divide, you will write the same line, okay? Before the fan stops, the second fan stops, it will rotate how many times? 6 pi divided by 2 pi equal to 3 times. So the second fan will rotate how many times? 3 times. Now, did they rotate? Did they complete the same number of rotation?
No.
No, they did not complete the same number of rotation. Okay, so we have justified the correctness of the statement that has been given in D. Okay, understood? From
Yes.
this question, what I want you to learn. Okay, from every question we need to gather knowledge. Okay, we need to understand if this information is given, then what I need to do. If this one I have been asked to find out, then actually what I need to find out. Okay, so like that. First one that I want you to learn is if the number of rotation is given in RPM, rotation per minute, you can calculate actually indirectly the angular velocity is given. So you can calculate it using this formula or equation. So number one. And number two, I want you to always remember whenever you have been asked to find out how many times any object will rotate before it comes to stop. So it is actually asking you that to calculate theta and then divide it by 2 pi or 360 degree. Okay, depending on in what unit you find this theta. Okay, if it is in degree, then divide it by 360 degree. If it is in radian, divide it by 2 pi. Then that will give you the answer. Did you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Lamia, বোধহয় করো নাই না? হোমওয়ার্ক কোনো কথা বলতেছ না?
দেখছিলাম।
লামিয়া, একটা কথা মনে করাই দিই, এসএসসি লেভেল হচ্ছে একটা গ্রাউন্ড ফ্লোর, এইচএসসি লেভেল হচ্ছে একটা বিল্ডিং এর 10 তলা, 10th ফ্লোর। 10 তলা না, 10 তলা বললে এটা 9th ফ্লোর হয়। তো যাই হোক, তো যেটা আসলে সমস্যা আমার কাছে মনে হয়, এক লাফে কেউ কখনো 0 থেকে 9th ফ্লোরে উঠতে পারে না, স্টেপ বাই স্টেপ উঠতে হয়। এখন এই স্টেপ বাই স্টেপ ওঠার জন্য টাইমটা খুবই কম। if anybody does not study regularly, আমরা তো তোমাদেরকে রেগুলার পড়াই যাব, পোরশন কমপ্লিট হইতে থাকবে। তোমরা যারা রেগুলারলি পড়বা না, একটা সময় you will feel that you have to make a jump from 0 to 9, so that will not be possible for any human being. বুঝতে পারছেন? তো প্লিজ বি সিরিয়াস, এখনো টাইম আছে। ওকে, এখনো হয়তো বা আমরা 3rd ফ্লোরে আছি, তুমি এখনো হয়তো গ্রাউন্ড লেভেলে আছো, সো এখনো টাইম আছে। দ্য ডিফারেন্স ইজ লেস, বাট যখন 9th ফ্লোরে পৌঁছে যাবো তখন আর জাম্প মারতে পারবো না। This is true for everyone, okay? So please be serious from now on. এই কথাটা নেক্সট 2 ইয়ার্স আমরা, 2 ইয়ার্স না, যতদিনই মেবি হয়তো বা তোমরা আর 1 ইয়ার 2-3 মান্থ এরকম থাকবে আমাদের সাথে, আমরা কন্টিনিউয়াসলি এটা বলে দেবো। কেউ কেউ হয়তো শুনবা, কেউ কেউ শুনবা না। প্রত্যেকবার এটাই হয়, অনেকেই শুনে না এবং পরে দিশে হারা বোধ করে। সবচেয়ে মজার বিষয় হচ্ছে ওদের এটা মনে থাকে না, সবারই একটা সেম অ্যাটিটিউড থাকে যে মানে এসএসসি তে এটা করে ফেলছি, এসএসসি তে শেষ করে ফেলছি 2-3 মাসে করবই, তো এটা আর কি এমন, সেম এখানেও করবো। আমার নিজের একটা সময় অ্যাটিটিউড ছিল, বাট আলহামদুলিল্লাহ আমার সঠিক সময় পৌঁছে ছিল আমি যখন স্টুডেন্ট ছিলাম। তো এখানে আসলে যেটা হচ্ছে, এইচএসসি তে তোমার ফার্স্ট ইয়ারের যে বইটা সেটাই হচ্ছে তোমার ফুল এসএসসি এর 2 বছরে যেটা পড়ছো সেটা ডাবল, এবং সেম আরো একটা বই আছে। তার মানে যদি তুমি চিন্তা করে দেখো, তুমি এসএসসি তে যতটুকু পড়ছো তার 4 গুণ পড়া পড়তেছো। ফার্স্ট ইয়ারে ডাবল, সেকেন্ড ইয়ারে আরো ডাবল, টোটাল 4 গুণ বেশি পড়া পড়তেছো, এবং টাইম এসএসসি থেকে কম। ওখানে ফুল 2 ইয়ার্স তোমরা পাও, এখানে ফুল 2 ইয়ার্স কিন্তু তোমরা পাবা না। সো থিংক, ওকে? আচ্ছা, আর যাই হোক, মেইন টার্গেটটা আসলে এইচএসসি না। আমি সবসময় তোমাদেরকে এটা মনে করাই দেওয়ার চেষ্টা করি, এইচএসসি মেইন টার্গেট না। মেইন টার্গেট হচ্ছে তুমি এইচএসসি পরীক্ষার পরে কোথায় ভর্তি হতেছো, দ্যাট উইল ডিফাইন ইউ। তুমি যদি একটা ইঞ্জিনিয়ারিং ইনস্টিটিউশনে ভর্তি হও, তুমি আজীবনের জন্য তোমাকে সবাই ইঞ্জিনিয়ার হিসেবে জানবে। যদি তুমি মেডিকেল কলেজ ভর্তি হও, তোমাকে সবাই ডাক্তার হিসেবে জানবে। সো তুমি কি, তোমাকে কি হিসেবে মানুষ জানবে, দ্যাট উইল বি ডিফাইন্ড ওয়্যার ইউ গেট ইয়োরসেলফ অ্যাডমিটেড। বুঝতে পারছো? এই যে এই টাইমটাতে মানুষজন এত বেশি প্রেসার ফিল করে, এত বেশি প্রেসার ফিল করে, ওগুলোর জন্য প্রিপারেশন আগে থেকে নিতে হবে। সো থিংক what you want to be and work according to that. Okay. 11D, এই বিষয়গুলো নিয়ে আসলে তোমরা যদি যে কোনো টিচারের সাথে কথা বলতে যাও, আমার মনে হয় যে কোনো টিচার তোমাদেরকে হেল্প করবে, কারণ হচ্ছে আমরা নিজেরাই এই স্টেজটা পার করে এসেছি, প্লাস তোমাদের কিছু সিনিয়র ভাই বোন আছে যারা পার করে গেছে কয়েকদিন আগে। ঠিক আছে, তো কেউ যদি মেডিকেলে ভর্তি হতে চাও, you can contact Yasmin, right? He is the best example of our school. She got into the best medical college in Bangladesh. Hmm? The best medical college, GMC number 1. There is no other better medical college in Bangladesh than that. So if you want to get into medical college, she can be your example. Likewise, there are several other examples for other sectors. Whatever. Now 11. A 30-gram marble hits another stationary marble at 10 meter per second velocity. Okay. So the mass of the first marble is given. Okay. Let us try to draw it here. This is the first marble. Let us say M1. This is at a velocity 10 meter per second. And this is the second one, M2. This is stationary. So the velocity of this one is 0 meter per second. So it is going to be V1I. Initial velocity of the first one. It will be V2I. Initial velocity of the second one. Okay, so they hit each other. After collision, the first marble lost its 75% velocity. Lost 75%. That means the remaining is 25%. Think about it in this way, okay? It will make your work more easier. If I'm losing 75% of something, that means I have 25% remaining, right? This is common sense. So V2, V1 for the first body, right? The first body final velocity, that will be 25% of its initial velocity. Initial velocity, whatever the initial velocity was, it is equal to 10 meter per second. And now the final velocity is 25% of that. So I can actually calculate it from here, 25 divided by 100 into 10. So 10 take a later 10 for this, so it will be 2.5 meter per second. Okay. The later marble gained 9 meter per second velocity. Oh, this was stationary, but now it has gained a velocity of 9 meter per second. Okay, fine. So all many informations are given. And hit a clay wall at a 3 meter distance. Acha. It came and hit the second marble. Then the second marble started moving with 9 meter per second velocity, and there was a clay wall of clay. Okay, at 3 meter distance. Nice. Okay. Obstructing force of the wall is 3 Newton. Okay. As it is clay, whenever something will try to enter it, it will try to obstruct it, right? Okay. So that is why this force is going to be 3 Newton. Achha. Definitely it will be minus 3 Newton. If you're considering this one to be plus 9 meter per second, the F it is going to be minus, okay, because obstructing force acts in the opposite direction. Acha, ignoring the yard resistance, okay, we will not worry about the yard resistance. Then, the number, mathematically analyze if the marble can enter into the wall. If the marble can enter into the wall. Acha, okay. This one actually needs to be done using work energy theorem. I don't think you have studied this one because this is discussed in work power energy chapter, which is our next chapter. Okay, so I will give you an idea, okay, so that you understand a little bit. Work done is equal to change of energy. This is something we understand, right? Let us say a body had no energy. Now it was on the ground. Now what I did, I took it up, I lifted up to a certain height. So as a result, what will happen? I have done some work, and we know that that work will be stored as potential energy in the body. So let us say now the potential energy that is stored in the body is 25 joule. So what is the change of energy? The final energy is 25 joule, the initial energy was 0 joule. I said that before it didn't have any energy. So the change of energy is 25 joule. What does it tell you? It tells us that I have done 25 joule of work, and that 25 joule of work has been stored as potential energy inside the body, right? So I can say the amount of change of the body, amount of change of the energy of the body is equal to the work done by me. Now let us say already the body was at certain height and it had a potential energy of 10 joule. Then again I did some work, I lifted it up, and now the energy in it is 50 joule. So what is the change of energy? Already it had 10 joule of energy, but now it has 50 joule. It has increased by 40, right? From where this 40 joule energy came? Definitely I have given it that energy, right? I have done some work, and we know that while doing some work, I am losing some energy. Whenever you do some work, you lose energy, right? So that energy actually doesn't get destroyed. Okay, we know that from the conservation law of energy. So if the energy is not getting destroyed, but you are losing it, then definitely it is going somewhere. It is going in the body and being stored as potential energy. So again, here the energy difference. Now it is 50, previously it was 10. So it increased by 40. This 40 joule of energy has been supplied by you. That means you have done that amount of work. Okay, since grade 9 I have been telling you this, that always remember work done is equal to energy transfer. Okay, so energy transfer from my body to that body is 40 joule. So that is actually what is work energy theorem. Okay, now I gave you the example for potential energy. What if I talked about the kinetic energy? Let us say the body, a certain body was moving with a certain velocity. Now as it has a velocity, I can calculate the kinetic energy from here. If I change the velocity of this body, if I change the velocity of this body, then what will happen? The kinetic energy will also change, because we know that kinetic energy is equal to half mv square. So mass is same, but the velocity, if I change the value of v, then definitely the kinetic energy is going to change. There is going to a change is going to occur in kinetic energy, right? So here you can see that here I can say the change of kinetic energy is equal to the work done by me. Okay, if previously the first example that I gave, you can derive from that the change of potential energy is equal to work done by me. For this case, kinetic energy, you can say that the change of kinetic energy is equal to the work done by me. Okay, so if I put it into equation, then how it will look like? Work done is equal to change of potential energy. So let us say now the velocity is v, so half mv square is the final kinetic energy minus a v naught. It is the initial kinetic energy. Okay, so this is the change of kinetic energy is equal to work done. Then again, work done is equal to, I know from the definition of work that force into displacement. This is actually work done, right? So this equation we can write from the work energy theorem. Okay, so whenever we discuss this work energy theorem topic in work power energy chapter, I will not be discussing in details anymore, because you already got the idea. Okay. Okay. So from here, actually, what we can see, we know the value of force, we know the value of final velocity. We have to consider 0. Okay, because I want to know, as it is hitting the ball, I am expecting that it will go into some distance inside the clay, right? And before it comes to a stop, what is the distance it will cover? I want to calculate that. So final velocity I will consider 0, because before coming to rest, how much distance it will cover? The initial velocity is 9 meters per second. We know that, so you can calculate. And the mass is unknown, right? So you have to see কি mass calculate করতে বলছে? হ্যাঁ, চিন্তা বলতে determine the mass of the stationary marble. So the mass m2, you will put m2 here, right? Because we are considering this marble. So this m2 you will have already calculated in c. So put the value of m from c here. Okay, so the only unknown remains here is x. So you will calculate the value of x. Okay, now what might be the possible scenarios? If the value of x comes 0, that means it will not enter into the clay. That means it will not cover any distance into the clay, 0. And if I get a certain value for clay, let us say x is equal to 1 meter, that means I can say that it will be able to penetrate and enter into the clay, right? Okay, this is what they have asked us: mathematically analyze if the marble can enter into the wall. Okay, so we can say it depending on the value of x. Did you understand the concept and carry out the calculation yourself?
Okay, sir.
Okay, তারেক, তোমার কি খবর? তুমিও কোনো ডাউট মেসেজ করো নাই তো? আশা করতেছি সবগুলো পারছো হবে নাকি? নাকি তুমিও খালি দেখছো?
অলমোস্ট পারছি স্যার।
সবগুলো পারছো, মাশাআল্লাহ, গুড। এই সলিউশন ক্লাসটা তাহলে তুমি নাও, এক কাজ করো, এই ক্যামেরা অন করো।
স্যার আপনিই করেন।
আরে আমি তো নিচ্ছি সব সময়, তুমিও ইনশাআল্লাহ পারবা। এই যে 12 নাম্বারটা এক্সপ্লেইন করতে পারবা? দেখো 12, দেখো এই 12 নাম্বার, এটা কেন এক্সপ্লেইন করা লাগবে? 12 নাম্বার এটা সেদিন করাইছি, আমি যা দেখতেছি। হ্যাঁ, সেদিন ম্যাথমেটিক্যাল প্রবলেম একটা তোমরা আমাকে সলভ করতে বলছিলা, মনে আছে? ইফ দা মাস ইজ হাফ, দেন হোয়াট চেঞ্জ উইল অকার ইন কেস অফ টর্ক? আমরা দেখাইছিলাম যে টাউ ইজ ইকুয়াল টু আই আলফা। সাদিয়া, তোমার মনে আছে? তুমি আমাকে বলছিলা যে স্যার টাউ ইজ ইকুয়াল টু আই আলফা কোথা থেকে আসলো? আমি
এইভাবে আমি এটা অ্যাঙ্গুলার ভেলোসিটি আছে না, ওমেগা, আমি ওটা দিয়ে করছি, কিন্তু এখানে টর্ক ইজ ইকুয়াল টু আই ইনটু ওই যে অ্যাঙ্গুলার অ্যাক্সিলারেশন, এটা আমি বুঝতেছি না স্যার।
ঠিক আছে, তো টাউ ইজ ইকুয়াল টু আই আলফা না? আই হচ্ছে মোমেন্ট অফ ইনার্শিয়া, আলফা হচ্ছে অ্যাক্সিলারেশন ডিউ টু গ্র্যাভিটি, সরি অ্যাঙ্গুলার অ্যাক্সিলারেশন।
কিন্তু লেখা অ্যাঙ্গুলার ভেলোসিটি।
কোথায়?
স্টেমের মধ্যে লেখা নেই।
স্টেমের মধ্যে অ্যাঙ্গুলার ভেলোসিটি লেখা, কিন্তু এটা তো তোমার অ্যাকচুয়ালি লাগতেছে না। তোমার এটা লাগবে না তো। এই যে দেখো, what will be the change of torque if the body becomes half? body becomes half মানে কি? বডির মাস হাফ হয়ে গেছে। সেদিন যে প্রবলেমটা ডিসকাস করছিলাম তোমার ওটা মনে আছে?
হ্যাঁ, আপনি ওটা করাইছিলেন যে
ওইটা
মোমেন্ট অফ
আমরা কিভাবে
ইনার্শিয়া।
ভাবে করাইছিলাম? ভ্যালুগুলো পুট করে করছিলাম, তাই না? কারণ আমরা ওখানে ভ্যালুগুলো জানতাম। বাট এখানে যেহেতু আমরা ভ্যালুগুলো আসলে জানি না, তো তাইলে আমরা কি করব? ওই যে বইতে যেভাবে করা আছে ওইভাবে করব। ওকে, আমরা ভ্যালুগুলো বসাবো না, জাস্ট m2 half of m1 এটা যদি বসাও তাহলে দেখো সবকিছু কাটাকাটি গিয়ে ওইটা হাফই থাকে শুধু। আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে, আমার মনে হয় আমি দেখিয়ে দিলে ভালো হবে। এখানে আসলে সবগুলো ভ্যালু দিয়ে আনাই তো, আমার মনে হয় এই কারণে তোমার একটু প্রবলেম হচ্ছে। ওকে, নো প্রবলেম। Tau is equal to I alpha. So tau 1 is equal to I1 alpha. Oh, alpha দুইটার জন্যই সেম, angular acceleration. Now tau is equal to m is equal to কি? m r square alpha, right? So m1 রাখি, r is also same for both of them because the same radius. Now if I write tau 2 is equal to, then it will be m2 r square alpha, right? Okay, because what I have changed, I have only changed the mass. Okay, I did not change any other parameter. The body has become half. That means now the mass is half of the previous mass. Body becomes half, তার মানে mass half হয়ে গেছে আগে। তো তাইলে এখন এটাকে আমরা কি লিখতে পারি? m1/2. We can write m2 is equal to m1/2. Okay, or else you can
m2 কিন্তু হাফ হবে m1 এর, কেন?
কারণ এখানে বলছে না body becomes half.
তো m1 এর বডি
সেম বডি, জাস্ট মাস আমরা হাফ করে ফেলছি। বডি বিকামস হাফ মানে অর্ধেক আমরা কেটে ফেলে দিয়েছি। তো তাইলে মাস যদি আগে মনে করো 8 কেজি থাকে, এখন সেটা হয়ে যাবে 4 কেজি। যদি আগে 10 কেজি থাকে, এখন হয়ে যাবে 5 কেজি। তো সেকেন্ড যে মাসটা সেটা আগের হাফ হবে। সিম্পল কথা হচ্ছে এটা। তো m1 2m2। এখন আমরা এটার যদি একটা রেশিও নিই, খেয়াল করো, আমরা কম্পেয়ার করতে চাই, তাহলে tau 1 divided by tau 2 is equal to কি হবে? m2 r square alpha divided by m1 r square alpha. So r square alpha will be cancelled. Then m2 will be m2. m1 will be replaced by 2m2. So m2 cross, then 1/2. So if I cross multiply this tau, then tau 2 will be equal to half into tau 1. That means the tau will also become half of the initial tau, torque. The torque will also become half of the initial torque. Understood?
Yes.
Okay. We have 3 minutes left. I don't know whether we can discuss.
So কালকের হোমওয়ার্ক কি?
কালকের জন্য না, আমি বেটার বলবো যে মানে একদিন পরের জন্য। তোমাদের হচ্ছে কয়টা বলছিল এখানে? নেক্সট 10 ক্রিয়েটিভ আপ টু 25। ওকে, যারা 15 পর্যন্ত এখনো করো নাই তারা 25 পর্যন্ত তাইলে কমপ্লিট করো। বুঝতে পারছো? তো তাইলে 25 পর্যন্ত ডাউটগুলো আমাকে মেসেজ করবা। তো আজকে যেগুলো বাকি রয়ে গেছে ওগুলো সহ আমরা ডিসকাস করব, বাট নট টুডে, নট টুমরো। ওকে, টুমরো ইনশাআল্লাহ we will actually try to start the next chapter because আচ্ছা একদিনের মধ্যে তোমরা 10টা ক্রিয়েটিভ পারবা? তাইলে মানে কালকেই ডিসকাস করতে পারবে
ইনশাআল্লাহ।
বলো, কারো অবজেকশন থাকলে বলো, তাইলে পরশুদিন একদিন বেশি সময় দিব। মাশাআল্লাহ, কারো সমস্যা নেই। ওকে, তাইলে কালকেই, ঠিক আছে? ফার্স্ট 25 ক্রিয়েটিভ থেকে তোমরা ডাউট মেসেজ করবা। টুমরো ইনশাআল্লাহ I will discuss. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.